The rhyme to reason, this shit ain't easy. Grandmaster Flash, who perfected the craft of cutting and scratching and who united DJing with MCing to take hip-hop to a higher level, drops the gem on us. Hip-hop is the only genre of music that allows us to talk about almost anything. It's highly controversial, but that's the way the game is. The same thing can be said about philosophy. It allows us to reflect on and argue about almost anything, and it too is highly controversial. As a matter of fact, philosophy was so controversial in ancient Athens that its most influential philosopher Socrates caught a case for corrupting the youth with it, and it was sent to death row for dropping science on the streets. Socrates' intricate arguments, not unlike the most sweeted lyrical technique of rake him, frustrated his intellectors, often tying them up in knots before they were able to reach a higher state of enlightenment. And since the haters couldn't understand him, the young heads couldn't get enough of him. The government smoked the greatest philosopher of his time. That's the way the game is. Philosophy is an ancient discipline devoted to the pursuit of wisdom. But how should we pursue it? Well, like Notorious B.I.G., Supernatural, and most Def, Socrates let his knowledge flow straight from his dome, in the mental battles with lesser minds. He engineered the pursuit of wisdom by asking people about the grounds of their beliefs, and then dropped a strategic series of probing questions on them to test the validity of their answers. The Socratic elecbus, or cross-examination freestyle as it came to be known, suggests that the true wisdom about God, love, virtue, truth, justice, or whatever, is the best pursued by modifying one's beliefs in response to interrogation and counterexamples. Fans of hip-hop will peep the fact of Socrates' stilo is similar to the call and response style used to talented MCs put in work to answer life's pressing questions by engineering an epic lyrical battles that sometimes turn into beefs. Although the release of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper Delight was hip-hop's first major commercial hit, introducing hip-hop to a broader audience. Real students of the rap game know that hip-hop was full effect long before that this hit dropped in 79. Students of hip-hop history remembered the Boogie Down production on their classic cut, The Bridge Is Over, made it painfully clear to MC Shan and the QB crew that hip-hop music did not start on the streets of Queensbridge before the rise of BDP in the South Bronx, and Africa Bambaataa and the mighty Zulu Nation before them. There was DJ Kool here in the West Bronx, inventor of the cut and scratch. Herc rocked the streets of the Boogie Down with two techniques: turntables, a mixer, and Herculoid speakers with a signature pack mix. So check it. Putting aside the unforgettable Bronx Queensbridge beef on the question of where it all got started, way back when, this much is clear: from project recreation centers to outdoor street parties fully equipped with DJs, MCs, fat speakers, graffiti artists, and breakdancers. Hip-hop came from the streets, word up, but so did philosophy, but not from the streets of New York City or Compton, but from the streets of ancient Athens, more than 2,000 years before hip-hop, where Socrates used verbal intercourse to school young heads on how the unexamined life was not worth living, and encouraged them to develop their minds and search for the truth, like KRS-One is still doing today. The bottom line is that hip-hop and philosophy are examinations of life on the street and the search for wisdom by those from the street. Word is bond, but as we all know, philosophy did not remain on the streets of Athens. It was international, traveling to the far reaches of the globe, and it is now considered one of mankind's most esteemed disciplines. Plato, Socrates' greatest pupil, thought that philosophy was so essential that one philosopher kings were fit to rule the republic, and as the philosophy hip-hop has not remained on the streets of urban America in less than 3 decades, its reach has extended to the entire world and has become synonymous with American popular culture. Back in the day, Curtis Blow imagined what it would be like if a rapper ruled the world. And after they acquired the knowledge, hip-hop legends Run DMC proclaimed themselves kings of rock and demanded that sucker MCs call them sire, which brings us to why we two duns born and raised in the hood decided to drop this gem on them. The aim of the Open Court series on popular culture and philosophy is to use popular culture as a medium to introduce philosophy to a general audience. This is all good, but this series wouldn't be complete without a volume that unites hip-hop and philosophy, moving seamlessly between the ivory tower and the boulevard, all for the sake of the love of wisdom. No doubt some critics will characterize this mixing of philosophy and hip-hop as a perverse union of the sacred and the profane, yet our intent is to highlight the often suppressed fifth element of hip-hop knowledge to represent the funky-ass ways that philosophy is carried out in everyday life, often in unexpected places and using unconventional means. Philosophizing places and using unconventional means. Philosophizing is something we all do at least some of the time. True that some hip-hop artists have turned the game into a way to get paid, and some philosophers have done the same, but we record companies don't own hip-hop, and the universe don't own philosophy. Both belong to whoever understands, loves, and respects them. The tracks laid down in the volume take this point of view. They show how taking both hip-hop and philosophy seriously furthers our quest for knowledge. Recommend St. Thomas Aquinas School as us on the nature of God. Lauren Hill and Plato reveal the mysteries of love. Lil Kim and Centered knowledge us on the objectifying gaze. Ice Cube and Kate ponder the legitimacy of punishment. Nas and Hegel probe the depths of self-consciousness. Missy Elliott and David Hume demonstrate how one can be feminist and yet love hip-hop. Dead Perez and France Fanon identify subtle challenges to living in authentic file underground rap, and Thomas Hobbes enriched our understanding of what it means to be revolutionary. KRS-One and the Paragrammatic shed light on the benefits and risk of violence. Hip-hop cinema and Cornel West help us to avoid confusing race with culture. Dave Chappell and John Stuart Mill help us to the ethics of using terms such as bitch and African American. Common and Renee Disgrace investigate how the mind gains knowledge through perception and public enemy, and John Locke teach us how to recognize and respond to injustice. Raekwon of the Wu-Tang Clan has said of rap, to flow that shit is not easy. Rap to me is slang poetry. It answers your questions why young kids is doing bad, why they turn to drugs to get away from their misery. This is the shit we talk about and how to escape it. The same is the true of philosophy. It answers your questions, but only if you have discipline and patience, like Bambaataa looking for the perfect beat. So to accomplish our vulnerable mission, we have assembled a Wu-Tang-like clan of highly skilled philosophers who are hip-hop fans and have infiltrated in the universities of America, Sholin style to gangsta doctorate in philosophy. Our PhD clan is representing the Boogie Down, Queensbridge, Brooklyn, Philly, and the West Coast, Chi-Town, the ATL, the Dirty South, Jamaica, and all points between with one common aim, namely to eliminate the philosophical significance of hip-hop. Each one teach, one KRS, one Rakim MC, late Pat, Pac, Nas, and other great lyricists use rhyme skills to teach us daily life lessons. Our clan of philosophers, kings and queens, will move from rhyme to reason to take up perennial philosophical questions that have perplexed MCs and philosophers alike, and believe us, this shit ain't easy.